I'm late to my period.
Oh my God, you're.
Yeah. Well, to 4th period.
Oh, okay. You're just like the class.
Well, listen, no, this is only my 4th period in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's only that. What does that have to do with
every like 7.5 years or so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one.
Okay. Do you have a baby all the other times?
Correct.
Correct.
Every other time I've had a child. Yeah. Because
that's a lot of children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, it sucks really badly.
A lot of little Johns.
Mm-hmm. Like the dude from Robin Hood.
Yeah, in the forest.
Yeah.
So you keep your babies.
Yeah, exactly. Hide him in the woods. Yeah. Find an empty a knot in a tree and it just shove them.
They're the merry men.
Yeah, the merry. That's right. Exactly what they're called. Yeah, each spaced 1 month apart.
Hmm.
Because I never gestate every 9 months. Like I do it every month.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's complicated. Yeah. Let me tell you about pregnancy, Michelle.
Teach me about pregnancy, John.
You know, because you're a woman, you don't know anything about this.
I'm stupid.
I'm glad nobody's in the room yet because I feel as if this is the worst performance of my life.
It is.
It is.
You've never been more awful.
Never. Yeah, no. This is actually like the peak of like any argument you ever had with somebody or customer service.
What's the opposite of like apex, peak, and what's the actual term?
Opposite of apex?
Mm-hmm.
Good question. Ultra diminished. Yeah, right.
I can find this
The
out.
antonym.
Antonym. That's a really smart
I'm
way to ask that question. Yeah. I'm a boy.
Hello, Rick. Rick's here. That's
Hi,
true.
Rick.
Hello.
I'm a boy.
Yeah. And to boys' school.
Well, it does all add up that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
John and I are eating breakfast.
That's right. This is my. Actually, I did have one of these for breakfast.
Nadir.
Nadir?
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 Nadir.
Wow. I didn't know that. I think what I was actually thinking was apogee and perigee. I think that's what I was thinking of.
Oh.
Those
Those are made up words. Made up women terminology.
They were made up a long time ago by some kind of scientist.
A woman scientist.
Okay. A woman scientist.
I'm failing to see how this is a problem.
John is just he's chauvinistic and sometimes it comes out when he's on his period.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what, yeah, see? I'm in 4th period.
He gets very misogynistic when he's on the rag.
Correct. Yeah. And it's just because, like, it's weird because, you know, the terminology ragtime? Like, they look at me and they go, ragtime, and then, like, the sweep piano music would start playing.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. That's where that genre really came from.
Yep, that's where it came from.
Because it's very cartoony. Like, it's very animated and, like, 1930s, like, vaudeville.
Like vaudeville.
Yeah, so... Yeah, like, slip on a banana peel, and then, like, the big subtitle comes up and says, whoops, or whatever.
Whoops.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. So tonight I was thinking about something. Actually, I themed the episode.
You did.
I did. And it's something that's a very a recurring kind of thing. It's something that we actually talk about very frequently.
Okay.
Paying it forward to oneself.
Okay.
You know, voluntolding is what somebody actually offered as a word, a terminology. Being on the take. Just because it's something that I see people do sometimes in a way that they don't, they're having technical difficulties on their end.
Really?
Hopefully, because it keeps popping in from 0 viewers to 1, and they're like popping in and out. So hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about this. You know, it's weird because right where the shelf like is right here, it almost seems like we're in 2 separate rooms. It looks like a perfect divide.
It does, I know.
In the middle of the rooms. Except for I shatter the illusion when I do that. But obligating people into doing things, putting somebody in your pocket, you know, like,
yeah.
And there's a really interesting term that actually comes up from this. I wonder if we should like wait until there's a couple more people, or if we should just talk about it right now and hope that people listen later. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I'm done. Whatever.
What technical difficulties are happening?
Let's see. Comcast. Cutting in and out. Computer, not enough RAM. Requires a restart. Yep. That's it.
I'm glad you diagnosed it where they couldn't hear you.
Well, I sent it to them telepathically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we can do super remote podcasts at this point. It's kind of cool. Something I've been working on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're in the Bahamas, you don't have a computer, you can still listen.
Cool.
That's great. Yeah, technology is amazing.
You just have to know when to tune in.
Yeah. Well, I don't tell you that. You gotta be intuitive enough on your own to figure out that part. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, technical difficulties are a pain in the bee. I'll make sure nobody else is having technical difficulties either on the page. Let's check real quick.
Seems like it.
It does. Normally we have thousands of viewers by this point. I don't know what's going on. There's no way. Okay.
Did I bring my phone? I'll check and see if...
It should show. I'll check my page real quick because I posted it on the Blue Lady as well as the personal one, and we'll see. No, it should be fine. The link is there.
Okay.
We'll see. Facebook, though, sometimes doesn't expose things like actively, and we have to hope that people find it. You know?
Yeah.
Know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? Okay.
We're there, huh? We're right there. Live,
Working on mine.
live in person.
It's working on mine, but it's...
No. I don't know. Sometimes computers,
I don't really get it.
they just do the thing.
I am a viewer.
You are a viewer. That's what I
However...
call you. I'm going to post one more link.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. We should be getting thousands of viewers right now. 2,000 to 3,000 viewers.
Mine's in the view. On the view.
Isn't that what?
Do you mean to go see if it works on my...
Sure, just to make sure. It should be fine. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Your parents have a car called the View, right?
Rick said he
It's a
got it.
Saturn.
View.
Saturn View.
Rick got it. He said he got it.
Oh, good. So everything's working now?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Looks like.
Okay. Who knows? Technology. Technology is a B.
It is.
Like a natural, like honeybee.
Yeah, it's a B+.
That's right, yeah. That's pretty good. Pretty good quality.
Okay.
How are you?
It's working.
I'm good. Tomorrow's my last Friday at Evolution. I won't be working Fridays anymore.
Holy smokes.
I'm so excited!
That means you can stay up late.
I know! I'm so stoked to not work Fridays anymore.
I'm excited for that.
I know, because I've been a pain in the ass with this podcast.
No, we really both have things going on. Health and time and
Yeah.
just, life.
So before we started, I had asked, I don't know, something's doing weird, but whatever. Before we started, I had asked, are you guys still doing stuff every day? You said you slowed down some?
Yeah, I've been going back to work and working on just store things, and all of August I was stressing really badly, actually trying to get everything done as much as possible before the end of August, and I ended up stressing myself out really badly, and so I figured it would probably be easier to sort of just say we'll get it when we get it. Focus on some key things, designate some days to do certain things, and some days are just spent out and about running errands, so it's kind of all over the place. But as you can see, the house is still pretty messy, but yeah, there's also a lot we're doing because we also still don't have a functioning shower, and that's sort of next on the list.
Still?
No. Well, the shower technically functions now, but we got to put the surround back in, put the drywall back in, repaint the bathroom. So it's getting there.
It makes it hard to want to spend a long day working in the house when we then have to go somewhere else to shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it really disrupts. Because also going to the parents' house to shower is not a quick endeavor. It's generally it's an involved several hour long thing. So it sort of breaks up the day poorly. Yeah. It's a big time investment, and so yeah, it's been difficult to want to commit to doing a project only for it to get completely disrupted.
Got it.
Yeah, but that's life.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm sorry you had to hear that.
I'm really sorry that you had to have me hear that.
This is quite a rabbit hole.
We could keep going with it.
We could. But I believe in you.
I believe in a lot of things.
That's true, you do. That's what I like about you. Your belief structure.
My belief structure.
So who do we got with us tonight? Right now we've got Rick. Good man. Good man. One of my favorite men. That's it.
I impromptu-ish decided to change the time, huh?
Yeah, we started a little bit earlier this evening. No, it's fine because life stuff comes up. But it's nice that we're still able to accommodate and do it a little bit earlier. And
Family is so stupid.
you should get rid of them.
I should get rid of family.
Tell your family to walk off the pier.
What pier?
Walk the plank.
Walk the plank. Yeah, the plank, basically.
Into what, the sand or?
No, the water.
What
The,
water?
the ocean. The Pacific.
It's an expression.
Thank you.
Literally,
I'm gonna just help you both out.
literally go to Santa Monica and just keep moving. Like, don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep going west.
Yeah, exactly. Go Santa Monica Pier, continue west until you're in the water.
Just keep going.
Yeah, don't stop. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're going for.
Okay.
Um.
Emily's trying.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Delayed my dinner until after the cast success. Okay, and this will actually be a slightly shorter one. We're going to stop about 9:30 because Michelle has some stuff to take care of. So it'll be about an hour for us. But I'm glad Toaster's here, and we got Rick here. Emily's trying to get on. Yeah, this is going to be good though. There's some interesting stuff to talk about, and nothing. Like,
Well, what made you thinking about it though? John was telling me a minute ago that he was thinking about the concept of being on the take and doing things in order to secure for yourself things to be done for you later or some kind of return for later.
there was a phrase that is a really interesting thing to use because you know this is like maybe 2 months ago we were talking and we had brought up something that Jordan had said to you. Okay, and it was the concept of acknowledging something without judgment, but by doing that you're still kind of judging it because you're acknowledging it, but claiming not to
the
judge it.
slap in the face thing.
Right.
Yeah, I remember
So it's
that.
a very, very interesting concept, and one of these words or phrases that is actually very, very similar that I think people don't necessarily think about, but is still very much on the same lines is, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it.
By using that phrase, you're still very much handing somebody look what I'm doing for you.
Right.
You're not doing it out of the kindness of your heart,
Right.
even though you might be. You're still handing somebody the obligation token. You know, here's the sphere of what I've done for you. You know,
What,
let me very loudly give this to you out of the kindness of my heart.
That's probably my biggest pet peeve on the entire planet is that phrase. And I feel as though there's no better way to signal a red flag in a conversation
Kind of, yeah.
than that
really.
phrase that like you're going down a rabbit hole really fast if someone says that.
Yeah.
Because at the very least, assuming the absolute most innocent intentions, they're still expecting acknowledgement of some kind from you.
There's still something they're asking for.
So it wasn't out of the kindness of their heart.
It was still very much to gain recognition.
A lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it at its core, it is the most frustrating, infuriating phrases I ever hear people use. And most of the time, I think you assume there's an assumption. I just said in the best case scenario. That never happens because if someone's tossing that around, it's for a much more sinister reason. And I hate to sort of assume the worst in people because I don't consider myself that kind of person. Except I've never heard someone say that phrase and not be trying to get something a lot more dire out of the situation to make you feel guilty or to make to get something from someone.
Even acknowledgement.
Yeah, what's really funny to me about it is you usually hear it actually after the fact of them not having been returned too.
Right.
They haven't received the return.
Yeah.
That's usually when you hear it is when they're like, I did that out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah, so it's still a reminder.
So it's almost like a total self spotlight of I was actually not doing it out of the kindness of my heart.
I wanted something from you and you didn't give it to me, and now I'm calling attention to what I want.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna label it something else so that you can feel a certain kind of way.
Right. I'm gonna pretend like my intentions were different than they were to try and make you also feel bad on top of the fact that I'm trying to get something from you in the first place.
What happened this week that brought it up?
Nothing specific. It just sort of sometimes, sort of memories of incidents or interactions with people sort of prompt that. Sometimes you just see it online. It might have stuck with me there. It's just one of those things that we were just having a discussion and just concepts were coming up and it was like, oh yeah, people do this. And sometimes people do it completely innocuously, but it's because they haven't really acknowledged how much power that statement really holds.
Well, the kindness of your heart doesn't have to run around talking about the kindness of your heart.
Yeah, basically, you know, the more you're doing something for the publicity of it, you know, there was a Donald J. Trump, one of the most fascinating human beings I've ever.
Who's that?
He just sees some underground hip hop artist.
Oh God.
He's
what an answer.
Yeah, you've never heard of him. He's, you know.
Yeah, I'm not hip enough.
Yeah, you guys need to, you know, come to the cool, like, you know, back alley raves that I go to and check them out.
Back alley raves.
And you can learn all about him. It was during the hurricane. were you watching this? And he comes out and he's like, "It's so great to see like so many of you here." He's something along the lines of, you know, like, "What a crowd, what a turnout," at a public rally that he held for hurricane. Like, and it was just like, you, what a crowd, what a turnout.
Oh, it's insanity.
And it was like literally, and I was like, oh, people are just typing this and trying to make him look bad because people do like to defame him. He defamed himself, and he does it in most cases. He really just sort of does that. But I watched the video of him literally saying this. He's fascinating, fascinating person. One of the most interesting things I've ever seen. A phenomenon of a human.
So he has this gathering. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out today.
When in fact, it's actually to celebrate his Donald Trumpness.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming to see me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here I am.
Here I am. Yeah, I'm the gift that you all wanted.
Me.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
That's funny.
But yeah, there are people who I do think, you know, use that phrase without intention to harm because they simply don't realize the power of the statement. You know, and it's very important, I think, to if you want to call somebody on something, it's important to not like do it in such a way that like completely debases and degrades them, unless it's to a point where that needs to be emphasized. But I think in most cases, it's simply sort of making people aware of things that they simply aren't aware of. To teach somebody, you know, the strength of that phrase. And I don't think I've ever really had to call somebody on that because I don't like having to be like, well, I'm right, you're wrong, because that's not how I like to view things. But sometimes when a phrase gets uttered or a phrase gets used, there is an opportunity for us to take a moment to say, this is something that needs to be acknowledged, you know, and there's a chance to give that to somebody and say, you know, what do you mean by that?
I think there's also a piece of it that's not so much needing to drive home the actual meaning of the phrase, but I think it's pretty exceptional how much we can be really, really unaware of our intentions while we're acting.
Yeah.
However actions we're choosing. Like we're capable of being, you know, exceptionally unobservant to our own motivation.
Yeah, from the inside looking out, you don't see a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we're really gifted at distorting our view of our own self and of our own actions. So I think that it's not just about the phrase itself and how that comes off, but it's almost like an internal, like an introspection deficiency. We're very capable of missing our own point. Absolutely. Yeah, it's kind of you know how something that happens very often is like if people come to me for advice on like a relationship or an interaction or a scenario, in most cases I can say, well, objectively speaking, this is what I think might be the best. You know, it's not necessarily the truth; it's just sort of my observation. But if those same things happen to me, it's very easy to dismiss it and go, well, not this time because it's me. Right. Very easy to lose sight of like the objective picture. Yeah. I remember talking about that a while back with, well, more than one time with Kevin on here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Actually, because when he was going through some really tough stuff that we could sit here and we could say, well, this makes sense. And in a marriage, this, and in love, that. And we could say all of that, but he was the one walking through the situation with his kid and with his wife. Sure. Yeah. You know, it was really easy from where we sat to say whatever we said. Yeah. But really, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a commentary. Yeah. It's just us talking about some sort of, I mean, almost like hypothetical, because to us, I mean, we know him and care about him, but to us, I mean, you're not living it, I'm not living it. Correct. So in a way, it is still a hypothetical. Yeah. To us. Yeah. Even though it's somebody's real life situation. So to say out of the kindness of my own heart, it's almost like you're hypothesizing that this other, that the recipient is there in the kind of way you want them there. Yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like it hypothesizes that they're they're on the receiving end in the way you want them to be. Yeah. Yeah. You're so lucky you got this gift from me. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very interesting. Yeah. And something just to sort of be aware of and be conscious of is our words can hold a meaning that we don't recognize as being something that can harm people. It's very easy to do. And I think all of us have done it many times without ever being aware of it.
Yeah, that thing Jordan said to me was, I think he was trying to be like, no, be totally comfortable with me. I love you just the way you are. But it really was actually like,
Yeah, I'm very much acknowledging the flaw, but I won't judge you.
Right.
For the flaw.
I don't judge that monstrous thing that you've got.
Yeah, yeah. Like, you can hold this huge the flaw all day long, but I won't even look at the flaw.
But I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So why else announce it to me then? I don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't instantly make me feel more comfortable with him. It made me feel very actually.
It makes sense. Yeah, because now he's aware of the flaw.
Yeah, we're both aware that you're aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sucked. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily.
You know what they say? Waste not, want not. You ever heard that one?
Want some more cereal?
I can't stand that. I only can have one piece at a time before I get sick of it.
This?
No, I love light cereal. It's good.
It's so good.
Is it just original? Original's good. I like Cinnamon Life.
I haven't tried that one.
Well, you should try it someday.
You should stop telling me what to do.
No, you should just do it.
You should stop telling me what to do all the time.
Out of the kindness of my heart.
Get a... What? Out of the kindness of your heart, what?
I will acknowledge what you have to say.
Oh, God.
That is nice of you.
It was really great of me to do that, wasn't it?
It was so kind of your heart.
Isn't it great of me to listen to you?
There's so much kindness coming out of your heart.
I'm going to make I listened to my friend Michelle today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michelle talked to me, and I was there. Aren't I great?
I'm amazing.
I'm amazing.
What a turnout.
I am so great.
I am so great. Everybody loves me. I am so great.
Oh, it's good.
Do you remember that on The Simpsons?
He was like walking down the hallway, like banging pots and pans and stuff. He was wearing a little like pot helmet.
Yeah. So
well, that GIF actually popped up a couple weeks ago, and I thought of you.
Bart. Did you?
Yeah.
I am so great.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Good evening. It's been too long since I've heard your voices. Kellen, I miss you. I miss you a lot. That's a good man right there.
Hi, Kellen.
Every single time I see his name pop up, I get the goose
you
zits.
You jizz everywhere.
Yeah, goose jizz.
Goose jizz.
Yeah. Did you know that geese can't jizz?
Oh, that's
they suck in air. Yeah.
They suck in air.
Yeah, it's like a backwards like kind of thing. So if they're in the water, like they just suck up a whole bunch of water.
You know that John makes a lot of shit up all the time?
No, this is all scientific fact.
It is.
This has all been proven by the women's science.
By the women, Foundation of Science, yeah. The WFS. That's right.
The female scientists of the world.
Of the world, yeah, exactly. Hey, it's a blue lady. It certainly is.
Goose jizzing is actually vacuum suction.
Yeah, it's like negative. It's a negative process.
It's a negative process.
Good Lord.
I know. Oh, it's good. It's good. Hey, we got a couple more people in here. We got Kevin is in, and Emily, Toaster, Kellen, Rick.
Hi, Kevin.
Look at this. This is good times. This is good times. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, today we won't be able to talk too much longer. I will get about half an hour left, a little bit more than half an hour. Michelle's going to take off a little bit early this evening.
So far this evening, we haven't gotten to much.
No, we've talked about a couple. It's actually going to be worthwhile to go back and listen to the beginning of this.
I think so.
Especially the first minute where we don't know what we're doing.
So, you remember? Okay, I don't know if any of you were around at the very, very beginning of the Blue Lady 18 months ago?
About 18 months ago, yeah.
But I think the first time we did it, was it the first time that we did an entire episode?
With no volume.
With no volume.
Yeah, because I for some reason it didn't default to turning the mic
really
on.
Funny.
And so we started the podcast and talked, and it was literally just silence for like an hour and a half.
So it was just us sitting here.
I think I left it up there too. I don't know. It might still be up there.
Is it?
You can just go up there and pretend we should just dub over it.
That would be fun.
Dub an episode over it and just improvise the whole thing.
Oh, that would be a total blast. That would be a total blast.
Too much fun. Is it still blistering hot down there? It's still pretty warm.
It was hot. I think it was hot today.
Yeah, it was a hot day.
Yeah, it was hot today.
Oh. So yeah, and overnight is when it's going to go from 85 degrees to 62.
Does it?
The first 10 days of October.
Yeah, just it's very.
It doesn't turn in September.
I don't think so. I don't think it did last year. I think last year was hot very consistently through.
I feel like having lived in this place for so many years, I should know that, but I feel like every year I'm like, oh, I'm surprised.
yeah, every year.
Oh wow!
Yeah. Albuquerque, what? It's because I think it is. Yet I see Michelle wearing a hoodie. Well,
it's cold in here.
It's cold in my house. I keep it very cold, and these women.
To me, it's like an igloo. Yeah, Ariel's wearing like a hoodie too.
Yeah, it's always freezing in here.
I make the house exceptionally cold because
I feel like I'm in an igloo.
I like it cold, and they're always cold. So like the way it works is there's like a temperature disparity. So if I am like temperate, Ariel's freezing, and if Ariel's temperate, I'm roasting. So like that's what we've noticed. We can never really agree on like a temperature. I mean, we can make it work always, but I don't think we've ever been like congruent when it comes to like.
It's typically
this is the perfect temperature
for me to be cold than
because
for you to be hot.
Because you can warm up. I have to like cool down by going swimming or bathing myself in ice.
Yeah, like it's a lot easier for somebody to get sick from being hot than it is the other way around. Just put on warmer clothes. That's true.
I appreciate your accommodation.
It's out of the kindness of
your heart.
Out of the kindness of my heart, I sacrifice my body temperature for you.
That's sweet.
It is really sweet.
What a shitty thing to say, though. That's what I mean. Like,
it is.
That's like a perfect situation where you would say something like that to somebody. It's like you don't really mean it,
right?
You know,
right?
Where you're trying to draw attention to yourself.
Let's see. You guys can't keep cutting podcasts short because you guys make me and Rick laugh. John, your house is hot. So you want it to be like 50-something degrees?
Well, okay. Let's be completely fair though, because what Emily is talking about is when they came
like during summer,
like a little deeper
that's
in the
true.
summer,
it was like mid
doing
July,
tiling and working out of the garage.
Extremely hot.
Working out of the garage.
Yeah.
So. Nah.
That's fair. If they perceive it as hot, it's because that whole of the house was much warmer.
Yeah.
I mean, even walking upstairs to like the downstairs
inside tiling is hot.
And
doing that
like
is
it's
hot.
sexy, huh?
Yeah, it's a huge turn on.
Right, just watching somebody.
Oh, it's just like being at a strip club.
It is.
Yeah.
Michelle, are you coming to Mortal Kombat tomorrow? Asks Kevin.
I will be there tomorrow. I couldn't make it last week. I fell asleep at like 8 o'clock.
That sucks because that movie was awesome.
The Ryan Gosling one?
It's so good. It's so cool, Michelle.
I love Ryan Gosling.
I'll let you borrow it if you want to. It's not mine.
Out of the kindness?
Out of the kindness of my heart.
Of your butt.
Out of the kindness of my butt. I have a very kind butt.
Your butt is the kindest of butts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
Okay, you sure?
Aquí.
Okay.
Ahí.
Ahí.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Let's see. That's a temp situation. I'll leave with my grandmother to care for her. Kevin says gasp. Let's see. So yeah, the whole of this podcast actually this evening started with the concept of obligating people, putting them in your pocket, doing something so that they may do something to you later. And if you joined us just recently, you'll notice we've been using the phrase "out of the kindness of my heart" a lot, stemming from the concept that it's not a genuine statement, not that you don't want to genuinely do something well for somebody. But the moment you say that, you're acknowledging that, look what I did.
It just doesn't need to be announced if it really is what we say it is.
If it's from strict kindness, yeah, you don't need to take the credit for something if you're doing it from a genuine spot. Otherwise, you're still saying, hey, I want to...
And I do feel like it's labeling our actions retroactively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really rare that we do something for each other and we're like, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's really rare that we do that. It's usually later when we didn't get back what we wanted that we're like, that was for you out of the kindness of my heart. And almost as though like the expectation wasn't announced in the beginning, we announce it afterwards.
Very much. And so a lot of the discussion was stemming from that we sort of need to be aware of certain phrases and concepts that we put out there that we might genuinely mean, but how dangerous it is to do those things and what the implications of announcing your intentions are.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you announce your good intentions, then the good might be more for your own acknowledgement and for people to look at you and go, oh, there's the good guy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
the concept even of like unsolicited help as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's can be really problematic for people that were like, you help someone even if they didn't ask you.
And then suddenly,
and then suddenly they're obligated.
But then using it as a victim stance.
Remember when I did that for you? You know?
Remember when I did this for you.
Or I see it on Facebook a lot. You know, I'm sick and tired of being good to people. I'm sick and tired of like doing the right thing. And it's just like, wow. So why are you doing the good thing, the right thing? What is your purpose? If you're not getting something out of it, then clearly you're just trying to give yourself me tokens.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's a dangerous thing to acknowledge because, and some people I've seen have like a really great counter statement, which is, you know, don't do something to someone who's bad to show them how bad they are. Do something that is good to show how good you are. And do it silently, do it tacitly. But if someone's doing something, don't get the revenge. Be the good person you are claiming to be. Do the good thing you're claiming to do and leave it at that. You know, don't call the person out to make them feel awful and shitty. Be the good person to show them that kindness and love is the genuine response.
Well, because on the other end of that, I mean, whenever you've had somebody do something for you and then get really, really mad that you didn't have the puppet string song and dance reaction they wanted to see from you or receive from you after that. I mean, it's such a disgusting feeling to feel like, whoa, you had me on the hook for something?
We had a podcast like this about 2 months ago. Very similar. We were talking about the same kind of concept. I'm not kidding. Literally 10 minutes after it, I went to my room, was getting on the computer to check some messages, and I got a, hey man, I brought you something to the store last week. You know, why aren't you talking to me? Why aren't you giving to me? Why aren't you like doing this for me? And it was like, oh, did you see the podcast? And he was like, what are you talking about? I was like, oh, that's weird. But literally, yeah, completely.
You thought it was a joke.
At first, yeah, because I was like, ah, ha, ha, you saw the thing and now you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And then it turns out it was like, no, I came and I did the thing for you. And I was like, oh, was I supposed to like, you know, I mean,
right. What did I enlist for here?
Yeah, and I said thank you when he did, and it was like, really, that's cool of you, man. Thank you so much. Like, you know, I appreciate it. But that wasn't enough of a, hey, look what I did for you response.
Ooh.
And it was really surreal to experience that right after the podcast. Very interesting. Have you heard the expression, no good deed goes unpunished?
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree there's not need to be said of the person you're dealing with, but do you see it differently if someone's having a conversation with someone other about that said person?
Say that again.
Wait, what?
Let's say, I agree it does not need to be said to the person you are dealing with, but do you see it differently if someone is having a conversation with someone other about that said person?
Gotcha.
It's no different.
I still think it's important not to try to feel the need to paint yourself. Even like to a third party that's not involved in the exchange.
Because I think it's still important to manage your expectations of people and to think introspectively, like we said before, like what is it you think you're getting from someone? Why is it you're doing that thing in the first place? And if it is that you're on the take or you're expecting that thing from someone, at the very least, don't try and pretend that it's for any other reason than what it is. It is because you wanted something or because you had an expectation that they didn't fulfill.
Sure.
Don't try and pretend that you did it out of the kindness of your heart and then go talk to someone else about how that person's not giving you what you thought that you wanted.
So there's a follow-up right here that says maybe someone did something kind to someone, it ended up blowing up in their face and they're venting to another person.
You know, I was thinking, I can think of a particular type of situation where discussing it from that vantage point would make a little bit more sense, and it would be more along the lines of, like if I'm doing something and that person is feeling like, well, what is it you really want? Yeah. And I'm like
they feel like they're on the take when you're really not.
Nothing.
You're
I
genuinely
really don't.
Trying to do it.
I'm actually not trying to hook you for anything.
Sure. And maybe just solicit advice.
I could see that.
Or maybe an outside perspective of what did I do wrong?
Yeah.
I think that's it's reasonable to question it in case like it backfires in a way that your good intentions were met with some sort of like resistance and you're not sure why, because again, outside looking in might have a better perspective on, oh, well, you approached it like this or you did it like this. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Thank you for letting me know.
I mean, I've been asked stuff like that before, like, well, why is it you're doing that? What is it that you want? And I'm like, what? Nothing. And it sets me on edge to feel like the assumption is that I'm trying to hook somebody for later.
Right.
To repay me or something in that way.
Yeah.
But I can understand where that comes from because people run around doing that to each other all the time.
That's true. It does happen a lot. So some people are sort of more guarded than others.
For sure.
By sort of defaulting into, what do you want? What are you going to take from me? Yeah. You've done something good. What do you?
He's being really nice. What's he after? What's the
Yeah.
angle?
And I have experienced that with some people as well too.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Me too.
We got
Emily.
It gets me mad when we do something good for someone and they take from us. Okay. So.
Take from you.
Do you
how?
mean like take advantage of you for that?
Yeah, take from you how?
Yeah. What is taking from you entail in that case? That's I like some clarity right there.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Interesante.
I know I'm interested.
Muy interesante.
That's not a language that I speak. You speak Spanish fully. You're 100%. Well, how do you know English?
I don't know English.
Oh, cool. Well.
Yeah, I'm gonna learn it someday.
Yeah, someday. Not right now, though.
Not right now.
Yeah,
no.
Don't waste your time.
Yeah, no. Right now, I'm ignorant. Totally English ignorant.
English ignorant.
English ignorant.
Yeah.
I actually had a really interesting experience this week where I had this client, or I saw her last week, and she was bringing her husband this week. So, but she didn't tell me that he didn't speak English. She didn't tell me that. So so they came, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, this is a surprise. Okay, we'll see what happens. I mean, because generally it's not indicated to have a therapy session with somebody when you don't speak the same language.
That's fair. That's tricky.
But I actually did really, really, really well.
I'm impressed.
It surprised. I mean, it really actually did surprise me. I was sitting there going, why do I understand everything? So it actually worked out really well because I could understand everything he said. I couldn't really verbalize back to him, but he could understand everything I said in English. Just couldn't speak back to me in English. So he spoke in Spanish, I spoke in English, and we did completely fine.
Right on.
Yeah, I was like, damn, I'm better at this than I thought I was.
I was at the store the other day, and a friend of mine actually speaks fluent Spanish, and a customer came in, and she walked up to the counter, and she goes, oh, do you speak English? Or no, oh, do you speak Spanish? In complete perfect English. And I was like, oh, I don't. And it turns out that's like the one phrase that she knew, and she spoke it completely with like no accent or anything. And
like she was from Maine or something?
It was really interesting because I was like expecting her to follow it up with, oh, okay, well, let's, blah, 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 blah. But that's the one like phrase that she spoke just to say, do you speak Spanish? And it sounded completely like straight English with no accent or anything. I was like, that's impressive.
Wow.
But my friend had to actually have a conversation back and forth and translate. It was very cool to watch. It was really, really interesting. Let's see. Take our kindness and stealing from us. My niece we helped stole from us. That's why I wasn't there on Friday, John. That's really difficult. Absolutely. I mean.
Oh, Rick, your niece. Wow.
Yeah, that is. I mean, of course, it's very reasonable to be upset by that. If somebody is truly taking advantage of you, that is something to be upset by. I think the best thing you can probably do is, well. That's tricky because there's not a blanket answer. There's not a universal answer.
Well, we also don't know actually the
situation.
Right, the situation.
Yeah, that's tricky.
Right.
I mean, my underlying
had that
theme.
Happen where somebody just straight up you have, right? Where you have somebody actually straight up just steal.
Oh yeah.
Materially, right?
Yeah.
Like somebody you were close to or somebody that you had.
Yep. And later it was interesting because he actually ended up like admitting to a lot of people in our friend group. We sent out like a public email to everybody but me. Admitting that he was a kleptomaniac and he was having a very difficult time, but he never said it to me, and I found a bunch of my stuff at his house. It was a very strange situation. Wow. Yep. Yep. Let's see. She's the one I was trying to get to call you, Michelle. Okay. Gotcha. I thought I lost my credit card. Her and her husband were fighting. Found out they jumped on and found my cards under her mattress in her bed. That's a frustrating situation.
Uh-oh.
Cats are
the babies are up.
Dramatizing each other.
The babies are awake.
Yep.
It sounds like there's an alley fight. The cats are having an alley fight.
Yeah, an alimony fight.
Yeah, so last week Rick was gonna have or a couple weeks ago actually, Rick had asked if I could make some time to talk with his niece, and yeah, she didn't. I mean, he gave her my number. She didn't get around to calling me. It looks like she was actually going kind of down another direction. Not really a more stabilizing one, but
yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, that is too bad.
That's rough because
that hurts. I mean, that hurts.
It feels bad in family, especially.
It does. Yeah.
I've seen it happen with a lot of people, and I'm very fortunate in that none of my family has done anything like that. But I've seen it happen with a lot of people and a lot of like close family and relatives, and seeing family situations that go so awry, and that's a very hard thing to see.
It hurts when that happens.
Because all I want to do is, I promote forgiveness, kindness, love, and understanding, but I also, want to say don't be so naive that it's going to continue to happen and that you're enabling somebody to take advantage of that.
I think that's every like every person who loves a family member, every parent who has a kid that's struggling with addiction or something.
Sure.
I mean, that's everybody's most difficult sort of thing when you really, really love somebody is the codependency piece of it. And
Yeah.
how much do I let the anger, I don't know. How do I balance how much I love this person and how pissed off I am at this person?
Yeah. What do I do to stop them from doing it?
That's a tough balance.
To show them that I love
that
them?
makes me curious about how they're feeling.
Yeah.
Crushed.
I was crushed. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's very hard.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't imagine the difficulty of having a family situation like that be so in your face, you know? No.
Yeah, that's pretty crushing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Sorry to hear that as well. Let us know how that sort of develops.
Credit cards under her mattress. Ugh.
Man.
Bummer.
Yeah, that is a bummer.
That sucks.
Yeah. And being taken advantage of is just a terrible feeling by anybody.
John steals my credit card every week.
I do. I throw it away too. I don't ever use it. I just make sure you have to get a new one.
I talk a lot
time.
about boundaries, but I don't live that. I just let him keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Just go, Michelle, you need to get a new credit card. I ruined yours.
So I come here and I'm like, this is the best way to handle when somebody's trying to walk all over you. And then I'm like, I go and I get emotionally whipped by my best friend here every week.
Just wanted to share my experience. Yeah, I wanted to beat her ass because she hurt Rick. It's not uncommon to want to feel angry and frustrated at that, you know, to defend people you love and to want to lash. I understand, you know, I totally get that.
It is.
Like, I'm not like a physically expressive person, but like if somebody was really hurting somebody I love, I think if it was physical anyway, I'd feel very inclined to want to defend them physically as well. Like I've never hit anybody in my life, but I feel as if like a situation were you know, called for it, that could come out. I don't know. I hope it never does, but man.
I was having a conversation a few weeks ago with somebody about, so this person I was talking to was saying a lot of mean things about themselves, and it's somebody that I love a lot, and I remember saying to him, you know, I'm really torn here because on the one hand, I'm really pissed at you because you're saying bad things about somebody that I love a lot.
Wow.
And on the other hand, I want to protect you because somebody's saying bad things about you. And it was all happening within this person. But,
yeah,
you know, there was part of me that like really had an empathy and part of me that wanted to beat the shit out of him because he's the one saying bad things about himself.
It's frustrating, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hard battle.
It was interesting when it all exists within one person.
People.
That's beside the point, but
everything you say is beside
everything I say is beside the point.
Yeah, you're never on topic.
I'm not sure why. I'm not sure why John wants me here if he feels like everything I contribute.
I'm trying to have a serious conversation.
Crap.
Yeah, and you keep derailing it into like, you know, well, I understand it because of whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Nice, Michelle. Nice. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Is there any part of you that wants to beat the shit out of yourself since you're being mean to somebody you love right now?
I'm being great to you. Yeah. I want to give myself a promotion. Yeah. Yeah. Think of how awesome I'm being to you right now. This is the best gift that I could possibly give you. Acknowledge me. Make a post about it.
Okay. Cool.
I have no idea what you're discussing, but I arrived at an intriguing point. Hello to both of you. I hope you're well. The underlying theme is sort of scattering all over is people being on the take.
The underlying theme is that John is a big old moron. That's what the underlying theme is. And he's saying mean things about me.
Off topic.
He's saying mean things about me, and I'm still having an emotional reaction to it, but he's just trying to move on like nothing.
Correct. That's it.
Okay, keep going, John.
Okay. No, so we're talking about people being on the take and us accidentally being on the take, being aware of our consciousness and the things that we say and the things that we do and the reason we choose to do things. And if we're doing them to get something out of it, very easy to do on accident, or even to acknowledge discreetly that we want recognition. The worst. Hey, John, don't be a bully. I am the worst.
Yeah, don't be a bully.
Do I hope the next person is where I'm at? Your thoughts, please. Let's see. Listen to Rick and listen to what you guys say about letting things go. She'll get what's coming to her on her own. Well, ultimately, I think things catch up with people, and if people are going to choose to go down a path that is destructive, ultimately, it does not work in their favor. You know, unless they decide to make a genuine choice for themselves to change. And anybody's capable of that. Literally anybody. It's a matter of whether or not they choose to do that.
Well, what Rick said here, do I help the next person? That's where the confusion is right now. Is I feel burned.
I've done something good for somebody. They hurt me.
Right.
Do I do it good for another person?
And a little bit ago, what you said was we do what we do, not because we want to express something so like valuable to them about them, but because I want to express the way I know how to value anything.
Do you do it because you're a good person?
Yeah.
And Rick, you are a good person.
Whatever.
I promise.
Rick, whatever you do, it can be based on your own integrity and your own character and your own care for people. It doesn't have to be based on whether or not it is received in a, ways A, B, and C. I mean, if it's received in ways X, Y, and Z, you still are who you are, and it still comes from you, genuinely from who you are.
Right. And the thing you have to realize as well too is that no matter what
the same thing.
you're going to choose to do, if you're choosing to give and help and be good for somebody, there will always be a risk that it might be to the wrong person. But if you're doing that genuinely to give to them and help them because you want their best interest to be met, do it.
And if it's genuinely out of the kindness of your own heart,
genuinely out of the kindness of your heart.
That's a really good point. And Emily said the same thing. I'm at the point I'm scared to help people too. Scared to help anyone too. And I think what you just said, if it really is genuinely from your heart and from your care, like almost the way that it gets dispersed or received or how it gets handled isn't really, at that point you really have handed it over
that's
completely.
not the bottom line.
Think about it,
you don't have
like
strings attached
more
to it,
of like even a metaphor in a sense. Like if you give someone a gift, if I take time and I paint someone like a ceramic bowl or something and I give it to them and they decide to go take it and smash it against a wall, it might hurt my feelings, but I still gave them that gift. It was theirs to do with what they wanted.
Ultimately, you did your part genuinely.
Right. And I can't, every time I give someone something, every time I gave someone a present, I can't then expect them to do with that present as I want. Because it's no longer mine anymore.
That's correct.
So, and that sometimes does happen to people. So like once you've given it away, it no longer belongs to you, and you have to understand that if it is a gift, once it's gone from you, however it is handled, whatever is done with it is not important.
Yeah, you're transferring ownership here.
Yeah, kind of like, I mean, even as simple as if somebody walks into my store and buys games, they buy a brand new game, whether they buy a brand new whatever it is, they could walk outside and smash it on the ground. It is no longer my concern. It's sad to see, of course, but it is simply no longer like, I've done what I needed to do.
It can't harm you.
Everything that they choose to do is really, it's on their end and you have no control over that. So a couple things to pop up. Kevin first starts with, I remember watching the Oprah Winfrey Show with my parents when I was a kid. At a certain point, she said something about donating a huge sum of money to charity. My dad went off about how disgusting it was, like she wanted attention. I always questioned that. Like, does taking credit for a good deed take away from the positive impact of the deed itself? Is the only truly good deed one that's given anonymously, and if so, why? And that's a good question.
That's a good question, especially because Oprah is somebody that seems to really encourage other people to do that.
I wonder if maybe that's the reason
like
she
role modeling.
Announces it, is to say, I'm at an opportunity, or I'm at a place in my life where I can do this to help others. Maybe that'll encourage other people to do the same.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference in saying, oh, I did this thing that I think you should also do, and then doing or saying something to someone specifically or pointedly, like saying, oh, I donated to a charity isn't going to make the charity feel guilty for taking your money. But talking to someone specifically and be like, oh, hey, I did a thing for you might make that person feel guilty.
Like a more direct kind of
approach
to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. And so is the only truly good deed one that's given anonymously?
I don't think it has. No, not necessarily.
I don't think it has to be exclusive. I think it really depends on how you approach it, but it still has to be something that could very easily. It's a very easy teetering point.
If it has to be acknowledged, then the answer is yes. if you feel like you have to be acknowledged, then it is not a good deed. If you have to be acknowledged.
Well, what is the publicity for? Is the publicity for the giver, or is the publicity for let's look at there's this need in this, I don't know, the hurricane situation.
You're right.
Donald Trump did a lovely thing.
Yeah.
But if I'm bringing publicity to encourage other people to channel resources over here, or if I'm bringing publicity to be like, look that I channeled resources over there.
Right.
Those are different. Those are two different publicity stunts.
Sure. Morgan says, this is a fascinating idea, attempting to maintain not just your personality, but overcoming the stress of someone taking advantage of you, and to come back and to continually put yourself forward in spite of the stress, drama, and repeated abuses of others taking advantage of you. At what point are you staying true to who you are, and at what point are you being taken advantage of?
Just personality, not just your personality. So being like a giver by nature? Is that what I'm reading?
That's what I'm getting.
Is that what yeah, okay.
And even Emily says, what do you do when your heart has been hurt too many times? At what point are you being taken advantage of?
How do you know at what point?
I think it varies from person to person.
I think it varies
from person, situation to situation.
Yeah, there's probably not a blanket answer to that because, I might be able to do something, I don't know, 75 times and not feel drained by it. Maybe you could pull that off 72 before feeling drained by it.
Sure. Yeah.
It might vary from person to person. And so I think that, really that's another introspective sort of question is, well, how do I feel about this? And at this point, is what I'm doing feeling more like it's bleeding me dry than energizing myself as a spirit, energizing myself as as a spiritual being, basically. Because giving it really should be, I heard something today. It was really, really cool. This research study by a man scientist, so you can listen to this. This is worth hearing.
Those are always the best, yeah.
The men's league of science. When the men make science, it's worth hearing science. John's misogyny. I have to qualify it by letting John know that a man said it. So if everybody's comfortable, I'm going to keep going. Okay.
Lord.
He was talking about how the area of the brain that lights up when receiving a gift is the same area of the brain that lights up when giving a gift, but it lights up even more when you're giving than receiving. So it was a really cool way of looking at the whole concept and experience of abundance in a way.
Sure.
And I don't know why I went off with that.
Well, giving is such a powerful thing because the act to genuinely give is a genuine act of love.
I get a lot out of wanting nothing back.
The best part about
shouldn't be a takeaway.
Yeah, giving is simply, if you're genuinely giving, it is an act of love, and love is completely selfless, 100%. And the best part about any act of genuine love is it never diminishes you to exhaustion or the need to refill it with acknowledgement. It never leaves a hole that needs to be replaced with something else, such as adoration or approval of any sort. Yeah.
When it does that, is you need to reevaluate why you are doing what you are doing.
I
like that. That's how I would want to answer.
Because I think the best thing I can do is think about in my life situations where I've been quote unquote taken advantage of, I suppose, or drained to the point where I can no longer function. And they're all in situations where ultimately I wasn't being true to myself. I wasn't being true to my love or eventually it wasn't a 100% in. Everything that I'm doing is what I love because it wouldn't have drained me.
It will not drain you if it's genuine.
That's a great point.
When you get to that point, eventually you feel drained and then you realize my heart is not actually in this. And I deluded myself to think that it was because I was more comfortable with the idea of being harmed if I loved it. But the idea, the truth of the matter, the ugly truth is that I didn't love that. I wasn't happy. I was being hurt. People were consistently hurting me, and I had to eventually walk away. But I had to reevaluate my own decisions, not anyone else's.
Right.
Yeah, what I was saying at the very, very beginning about having a barometer of your own intentions, that being the best barometer, period, of whether to do or whether not to do. So I think it's a lot more important why we do what we do, not what we do.
Right.
Because I can do or not do anything, but the point is, where is it coming from and why? What part of myself am I expressing? Am I expressing a high love part of myself, or am I expressing some sort of a need part of myself? I think really it's the intention and the motivation behind it that should be qualifying how we answer any of these questions.
Sure. Rick says, knowing myself, I'm going to keep helping who I can with my experiences. Thanks, everyone. It's something I've always wanted to do. And that's the best. I love you, Rick. Yeah, seriously, Rick, you're an amazing man. Is don't lose heart. Genuinely continue to love and to show love because the world needs it. The harder it gets, the more love needs to be shown. Morgan says, yes, you got that right. It was somewhat rhetorical in nature in that I'm examining myself in specific stress in relation to someone close to me taking advantage of kindness I had extended. So as I extend and expand myself as an earnest person, I wanted to give of myself as intently as possible in the way that I truly am and experiencing emotion completely as opposed to just setting it aside in order to just fall into the idea of being who I am and not analyzing what that means. It is unequivocally difficult.
Oh.
Barometer of intentions is a great saying. So he really likes that concept, to attempt to transcend the intentions, to get instead completely consumed in expressing yourself as you are, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It is.
I like Morgan a lot too.
Oh, yeah.
Incidentally.
Yeah. Just because he has the same name as you, kind of.
Well, that's why I like
That's
him.
the only reason.
Yeah.
It's a good reason, because also Morgan's one of the best human beings I know. Did he tell you about our hugs? Did I tell you about our hugs?
You did, and he did too.
Oh, good. Okay, because
you both did.
Fantastic experience.
It is, yeah. Even to witness, yeah. People just watching it feel like happy. It's funny, yeah.
I want to witness a hug of yours, and I just want to climb on you guys like Ivy. And
It is just like
to get in between.
A big mountain of testosterone that simply embraces one another. It's wonderful.
Mountain of testosterone.
Yeah. I wasn't sure about his niece coming, but Rick said, talk to me and our daughter about it. I know this is family, and I stood by him because as much as my family has screwed us over, he has never. It's, don't let a bad situation deter you. Don't, there are beautiful, wonderful people in this world, and as much good as possible needs to continue to happen at all times. He has never turned his back on my family. That's why I love him so much. He's a good man.
Also what I was thinking right there, Emily, when you just said that Rick has never harmed you all. He's always been out for your best interest, and even though others have not always been out for your best interest, sometimes I think that we also want to see the results of what happened now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes it can take 10 years for that person to be like, wow, my Uncle Rick and my Aunt Emily, they had my back.
Yeah.
I mean, it could take we also have this instant, not just gratification, but instant acknowledgement thing that we want to have happen that, we don't necessarily get that. Sometimes I learn, we were talking about this the other night when you and I went on a walk, and how we had a falling out at one point because
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago or something like that. Because, because I was just being really judgmental and really closed-minded and really narrow. And that it wasn't until some years later that I was like, wow, I was being really closed-minded and really judgmental and really narrow. But it took a period of time. It took me being in need. It took you still being there for me to reach out to. It took several things for me to be like, oh yeah, Jon actually was not the problem there. It was me. That's, it took some years for that to actually come around to me. So, and if you had been like, well, I always was so good to Michelle, which you were, that would have been completely true. But if that's how you had based your care of me on is whether or not I returned well, I would have failed and we never would have been friends. Do you know what I'm saying?
I would never not give to you.
But it was out of your genuine self that I ever had any part of like your care, your offer. That was only because of you, which is why we're still friends. Because I absolutely did take it for granted and absolutely did walk on it. It's
because I know that, like, when I've inevitably done things to people, all I want for them is to understand that I might no longer be that person. Whatever kind of thing I have done that didn't make them feel good or hurt them, I would want them to extend themselves the same way to me. Anybody. We are not limited to our mistakes, because otherwise all of us are screwed completely.
Yep.
But every last one, not a single one. And I want people to allow me to make mistakes and still be okay with me coming back. I want people to foster and growth and love. Love is patient. We have this whole love is kind, love does not want. Like, there's a whole list of things that whether or not you necessarily agree with, like, many biblical principles, this is one of the best ones simply
I do love it. Yeah.
to adhere to.
Patient, kind, does not envy, not rude, not self-seeking, not easily angered, doesn't keep a record of wrongs.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. Anyway.
I'm the luckiest man in the world to find a man like Jon. That's sweet, says Kevin. Oh my gosh. Ninja Turtle toys are literally cascading onto Ariel.
Morgan said I'm allowed to climb you guys like Ivy when you're in the middle of your hug so that I can experience the magic.
Yes, Ariel was kind enough to let me hug her earnestly and honestly. Thank you both very much. I barely know Emily and Rick, but jeepers, they seem excellent, and holy smokes, they are.
We're kind of obsessed with them.
Yeah, no, it's the nature of the podcast, the dynamic changed when they entered. Things got better.
Yep.
Simply put. It improved.
Absolutely. Are you guys going to be there tomorrow night? Mortal Kombat.
Emily, Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
To engage people in Mortal Kombat is the
and
truest
then we're
form of
gonna
self-expression.
fight.
Yeah.
Then we're gonna fight after.
Half the attendees will die because it's going to be a one-on-one.
We're gonna mortally combat right after.
Exactly. Yeah. It is. Yeah. It's going to be exciting. Yeah. Who leaves the store?
It will be me.
It will be you.
Absolutely.
Who are you going to? I guess you're going to kill everybody.
Everyone.
Okay.
Ariel's gonna kill everyone.
I'm just making sure that I announced that so that you all were prepared.
Okay. That's very kind
That's
of you.
good. So if there's a
I'm like-
Out
bloody,
of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
I wanted you all to know that tomorrow you die.
Yeah. It's a good heads up.
Yeah, just a heads up. Eat something really delicious before you come.
every last meal.
Me and Rick are lucky to find and meet people like Jon, Michelle, and Ariel. And I mean, this whole group. This, it's been consistent, and despite the fact that we didn't podcast for nearly a month,
I know, right?
people just come right back in, like old times, and we're still hanging out and talking, and it's all very good. Very impressive. Muy mal.
Very bad.
Yeah, very bad people. Let's see. I'll beat all you guys. Just ask Rick. All right, so Emily's challenging you.
Emily is challenging you.
Yeah, because you said you're gonna win, and she said I will beat all you guys. So essentially, she's challenging you since you're the self-proclaimed winner.
You two should brawl first, and whoever wins gets to kill all the rest of us.
That saves a lot of time, actually. Yeah,
Bang.
are you gonna shoot them?
It's really efficient.
Mortal Kombat would be a lot shorter if you just shot people to death
My
instead
finger.
of fighting until you're able to rip their heads off. Okay.
She's
Does
trying
mean
to
I have to show up tomorrow to show Michelle or hug Jon?
We're gonna shoot out. You're in the crossfire, Jon.
Morgan, I know. I'm watching two women battle.
Oh my god.
And Ninja Turtle Rocksteady is flying everywhere. Yeah.
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady. It's my boy.
God, they just keep coming everywhere.
I know.
Where do they come from?
It's like they're
Urethra.
reproducing over there.
It does seem like it.
Yeah. There's more Rocksteady toys keep coming out.
There's a huge pile of Ninja Turtle
This
toys.
is actually
over
how I
there.
make money.
Ah! And Ariel's trying to sit on the couch, but they continually avalanche onto her.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to watch.
Also, it's 9:30, so we should probably.
I'm gonna read a couple more of these and we gotta get going.
Cool. Yeah, because Michelle's got to get going to take care of family stuff.
Family stuff.
Yeah, I love my mom. Yeah, I'm gonna do this thing for her. Yeah.
We're gonna make fun of me for that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so nice. Yeah, you guys gotta leave early to go do nice things for people.
Under the kindness of my
Yeah,
heart.
I'm so good.
Actually, I'm doing it more so out of family obligation, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend it's the kindness of my heart.
That's still good of you to
I
do that.
appreciate the honesty.
That's
at least
even
in
better.
that.
Yeah.
See,
It's
and
obligatory.
I will admit that when people have been on the take, even in my life, if they're just straightforward about it, it is so much less upsetting to me. When
Absolutely.
someone's
Honestly,
like, "This is what
yeah.
I'm expecting to
Yeah,
get from
don't
the situation."
pretend. Just
I
let me know you
love-
need something.
The homeless signs that are honest.
Oh, yeah.
Like I
Yeah, I'm gonna spend this on weed.
really,
Like,
I really
okay,
wanted,
you
well,
know?
I remember seeing this one that I really liked that was really kind of super hilarious, and it made me actually made me feel like I wanted to do what he had written on his cardboard thing, which was he's standing there and it said, "I bet you could hit me with your wallet." And I was like, oh, I want to try.
That's pretty
It
funny.
was like a carnival game or something.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was great.
All right, so Emily requests that we close this out with Minnie Mouse.
Ooh la la.
Ooh la la.
Uh-oh.
I see London, I see France.
Yeah, Morgan, you have to come tomorrow and
Mickey Mouse in my underpants.
You have problems.
it's this emotion, it's the hips. My hips automatically move, like it's tied to there's a synapse in my brain fires whenever I do the voice, and then
It's
my
like
hips automatically
nails on
gyrate.
a chalkboard.
he starts belly dancing in his chair.
My shoulder has to shift up. There's a preset pattern of movement that as soon as this fires. Yeah. Ooh, Mickey. Ooh, Mickey, give me hamburger, Mickey Mouse.
What is happening?
Yeah, my body. It's I can't just sit here and do it. It's impossible.
Try.
I can't.
Try.
I can't.
Try.
I cannot.
Try.
No, do the voice, hold still.
Just hold still and do the voice. Come on. I'm asking you to do
No,
the
I know.
voice.
It
For
feels
one.
it feels dirty if I do it that way.
It's
like
dirty.
I've been betraying
It is
my
much
best interest.
dirtier.
I'm betraying my best interest.
Well, I want you to try.
Ooh, ooh, Mickey Mouse.
You feel creepier.
I just like it. Yeah, because otherwise it's a character. Now it's just me talking to somebody inappropriately. Ooh, Mickey Mouse.
Ooh, Goofy.
Ooh, Goofy. Ooh, Goofy, why your balls so floppy? Gosh, we have jelly in them. Oh, let me have the jelly, poopy. Let me make sandwich with your jelly.
No.
Ariel has to be here with you tonight.
I know.
And not be creeped out.
She chose this life.
She did choose it.
Yes. Okay. I'll come by tomorrow. I'll give John a customary greeting. What time tomorrow? The movie starts at 9, and we want to begin at 9, so that way we have time to interact afterwards. So try to be there between 8 to 8:50.
Is Byron going to be there?
I hope so. He usually shows up to these things. I don't know where he is tonight. Out peeing on treasure chests.
Yeah, something.
That's cool.
Something nice like that.
All right, that's very nice.
What
Very
do
nice.
kids do these days?
Yeah, I don't know what all the youngins are doing. Like, I'm not keeping up with trends any longer. Why are you so perfect? See, Kevin likes me.
Big Kevin.
I'm trying. I'm using you to get to him.
I'm trying. Aww.
All right. Well, we love you guys. We do got to get going. Michelle's got to go do something nice.
I gotta go do something obligatory.
Michelle's eating Life cereal, and I'm eating Nature
Life
Valley
cereal.
peanut granola bar.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm gonna go have some fire ramen here for dinner, though.
Cereal.
So Ariel and I are gonna have some dinner shortly. So take that.
So see, hopefully, everybody tomorrow night.
Okay. All right. A little off topic. Do you have any new art prints available for purchase? I don't currently. I'm formulating a whole bunch of new stuff, stickers, decals, and prints that we will try to be getting out soon. I just don't know when that's going to be. So, but I've got things in mind. Just FYI. Bueno. All right. Love you guys. And we'll be back next week. And you can also run into us tomorrow
Mañana.
at Mañana, the store.
Mortal Kombat.
Mañana Combat.
Fight night.
Yeah. Fight night.
Mañana Kombat.
Yeah.
Tomorrow fight.
Tomorrow fight. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Need a GA hoodie. Well, October's raffle. Keep your eye on.
Wow.
Okay. All right. Love you guys very, very, very much. We'll be back next week. If you didn't get a chance to pop in at the very beginning, I'd recommend going back and watching the first part of it because that actually
we sort of crashed and burned and it was fun.
It's good. It's good. All right.
We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but it was perfect in its imperfection.
Don't look at me.
Oh. All right. Girls against boys. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
Good night.